Yeah, I think in the last episode we recorded, I made some predictions and I said, the coffee market could go one or two ways. Things could get very, very, very expensive, or things could level out and flatten out and become more stable. Turns out things got very, 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 very expensive.
Yeah.
So, there's a huge amount of reasons, and I hope we can tackle some of those things today in the podcast on why the coffee market has become so expensive, especially around green coffee, which is the input source for so many roasters who roast the green coffee, produce it into roasted coffee, send it to cafes who then produce it into drinks. But it starts at the raw material, at the source.
Okay, so in terms of very expensive, what are we talking about in price terms?
Okay, so in a nutshell, coffee is traded on an exchange in US dollars per pound, and roasters need to buy coffee based on the market rate at the time.
Yeah.
So historically, the market used to change no more than a couple of cents a week. You wouldn't see that much volatility. Coffee prices were relatively stable. Then after COVID, things got a bit more volatile. But in the last 12 months, coffee has increased something like 78%. We're talking about green coffee here, the input that goes into roasters. 78% price increase in the market. That's massive over 12 months. And that's not something that a business can just absorb. It has to get passed on down the chain, down the supply chain, and eventually into cafes. So eventually you'll see cups of coffee prices increasing quite substantially. And everyone's kind of worried about it. There's a lot of talk in the media about, we're not willing to pay more than $5 for a cup of coffee, that sort of thing. That's a value discussion that we can get into a bit later. But it's unsustainable for businesses to continue charging what they've been charging up until now. Things have to move down the chain, because the supply chain costs, the value increases through every step. It gets passed on, and it's not just green coffee that's gone up. Gas and electricity's gone up.
Yeah.
Everyone's feeling it on water, on wages, on every single other input cost that goes into manufacturing coffee. It's not just green coffee.